So it's been a while, but I've been doing some work on the truck, and we finally reached the next phase of the build. We're adding solar. Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today I do want to talk about the truck, but I also wanted to talk about where I've been lately. I've been getting a lot of people asking, when's the next video going to come out? I've been kind of MIA, and so I kind of wanted to explain what's been going on with me lately. If you don't want to hear that and you're just here for the truck stuff, feel free to skip ahead. I'll probably have like chapters down in the bottom that you guys can kind of skip around and find what you're looking for. For those of you who do want to hear that update, so basically, I don't think I've put out a video in about 6 weeks or so. And during that time, you know, we were kind of like middle of the summer going on our family camping trips. And I had decided to kind of take just a small break from doing videos and filming the trips, because most of these trips were kind of like the old school family camping trips, going to campground, just hanging out with the family. And, you know, that's kind of what we do. We weren't doing so much off-roading and overlanding. And I just wanted to enjoy that time with my family. And so just a little bit of backstory on that. Some of you who have been following along for a long time probably know I am a small business owner, and this whole pandemic thing has been kind of rocking our world in that area. And so, you know, just kind of needed that break to kind of just mentally figure out what I'm going to do. I actually kind of had to think through, am I going to still do the business? Am I going to sell the business and move on with everything that's happened to us? And, you know, just taking that downtime to kind of, you know, collect myself, think a little bit clearer. I've decided to keep the business and just work on rebuilding it. And so I have been a little bit extra busy with that as well. So that's kind of where I've been. Everybody's okay. We're all doing good. Just needed a little bit of a break from the YouTube world to kind of focus on some family time, some downtime, just kind of having some of like that relaxation on these camping trips that we've been doing. I am going to keep on doing videos of the camping trips. I am going to keep on working on the truck and doing videos of that to share with you guys. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be pretty busy over the next couple months trying to work on rebuilding the business. And so, you know, obviously I'm going to have to make time for everything, and YouTube isn't going to be my biggest priority. But, you know, you could probably expect videos from me about every other week going forward. And right now, I do have some really exciting stuff that I want to talk to you guys about that I've been doing with the truck and show you. So let's get into that right now. So as I kind of teased in the beginning, I have gone solar. I've got a solar panel on top of the truck to power a little bit of a solar generator, dual battery system, a fridge, and some other accessories. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you guys a little bit more about some of this stuff, some of the details, what I'm using. You can kind of see it's a total mess in there right now. This is by no means in its final stage as far as how I'm going to set this thing up. Last weekend, basically, I just spent all day long on Saturday, and I think a little bit on Monday as well, just getting things in there working, just to kind of power the fridge and just kind of see how everything worked out. And so super early stages. But before I go into detail on each of these items, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking to you guys about why I've gone in this direction for the build. Now, all summer long, you know, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, we've been doing these family camping trips. And though it wasn't too hot this summer, we just happened to go out on the weekends that were like extremely hot, like during the heat wave. And ice was a disaster this summer. Just every single day we had to refill the cooler. And just by the end of the summer, I was like, that's it, I'm done. I had some other plans in the pipeline for the truck, but everything else needed to be put on hold temporarily so we could get a refrigerator in here. And I'm really excited about that. Now, as far as the truck is concerned, this next phase that I'm going into is kind of all centered around being able to take out my kids pretty much every single weekend starting next summer. Now I've got a 9-month-old and a 3-year-old. If you've been following me along on Instagram, you probably did see in the last video, or I'm sorry, not on the last video, but in my last Instagram post, that me and my daughter were able to go on our first father-daughter camping trip, and it was awesome. And I always knew that that would kind of be the direction I'd be going in, because, you know, before I got married as a single guy, I was camping all the time with my buddies. And, you know, as soon as I got married, started having kids, I couldn't wait to start taking the kids out. And so my daughter's finally at that age where she's at a really good age to be doing this. And I think by next summer, my son will be getting close to 2. And so I think he'll be at a pretty good age for just the 3 of us to head out, since, you know, my wife doesn't like to join in on every camping trip and I like to go all the time. So really looking forward to that. But I know the kids aspect of it is going to be a ton of work. And so I've kind of shift focuses from temporarily away from kind of the off-road capabilities of my vehicle to the making camping easier capabilities of my vehicle. And so that is what is leading me in this new direction. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, kind of go break down the parts that I've installed so far. This at this point is no way a review of these items, because I haven't had the opportunity to put them through their paces yet. But I'm just gonna, you know, basically go over what I'm using. The stuff that I'm using is very budget focused. And so we'll talk about all that as well. So let's start with the solar panel. Now this is made by Top Solar. It was an Amazon purchase and it was very budget friendly, and that's why I chose this one. I chose to go with the flexible because, at least temporarily, I have flush mounted it on top of the cab here, the truck cap, and eventually I plan on moving it on top of a specific style of rooftop tent. So I guess I can probably mention that in a little bit towards the end of the video, but I do end up planning on having 2 of these mounted on top of the rooftop tent once we kind of get to that phase of the build. So if you've been following along on Instagram, I did kind of tease that what I'm doing with this, and I am doing a dual battery system, but I want it to primarily run off of solar. And so that's why I do plan on doing 2 panels long term. As I mentioned, everything I'm working on right now is not just to get a fridge in the truck or anything like that. It's to make camping overall easier. And so there's a lot of stuff that I plan on hooking up to this solar panel, to this dual battery system, besides just the fridge. And so that's why I do plan on doing 2 panels long term. Now currently this one panel is putting out about 5 amps during the middle of the day, 5 amps of power during the middle of the day, when the sun is at its best. I've been using this panel for about a week now, and so far it's been working out really well with the battery being able to maintain a charge. It kind of seems like even on a cloudy day, I'll be able to power at least just the fridge indefinitely with just this one panel. Now I do have it hooked up to a 100 amp hour Renogy gel battery, which, I mean, pardon the cable mess. Obviously, like I mentioned in the beginning, I am very far away from having this in its final stage. But the 100 amp hour battery definitely gives me some leeway if I've got, you know, obviously a cloudy day where I'm not getting a really good charge. It's got a lot of power storage capability in that 100 amp hours versus a regular car battery, which, I mean, mine's running off of like a 48 amp hour battery. So that's why I chose to go with that. Okay, now the battery and the solar panel are both kind of joined together by this solar charge controller, which is super important, so that way you're just not pumping excessive energy and charge into your battery and, you know, obviously burn it up. And so this definitely helps me manage the whole power system and the charging capability. Now I do have plans to mount this clean, flush, make it sexy back here, but for the time being, this is kind of just hanging loose. It all is covered pretty well, and so it's, for the time being, it is safe, but that's kind of what I'm using to manage the charge. And then I have a fuse box, which the only thing I have running from that right now is the fridge. And currently I've got the fridge just plugged into this 12 volt DC adapter that runs to the fuse box. Now I actually ordered several of these, and also some like multi USB connectors that will run to the fuse box to let me power various accessories, auxiliary things. And so definitely a lot of capability as far as still being able to connect everything up. Now, some of the other things that I'm planning on adding to the vehicle, once the rooftop tent, once the roof rack is up there, is like some camp lighting. That's gonna run off the battery. We're probably gonna ditch the buddy heater for winter and go with heated blankets. And so I'm gonna need quite a bit of power to power everything that I want to have set up to the truck and the power source there. And so that's why I'm setting things up the way I am. Now, I'm kind of just figuring this out as I go, and so I am no expert by any means when it comes to, setting all this kind of stuff up. One of my buddies who's got quite a bit of experience in like the electrical department, he helped me kind of look over everything so far and give me some pretty good pointers on some stuff that I still need to add. And so, this is just the first phase of what I'm doing right now, and I will be definitely sharing more of that with you guys as I continue to add it. So kind of getting to the fridge, this fridge is Alpacool. Once again, Amazon order, and as I kind of mentioned earlier, everything you're seeing here is done with working with a budget in mind. So before I go any further, I will tell you guys exactly about how much I'm into this so far, and hopefully give you an idea of how much I really actually end up wanting to spend on this whole budget as far as all the power is concerned. Now, so far with everything you see here, with also I've got several other outlets like the USB, the 12 volts that I had mentioned earlier. So far, everything including the fridge, the panel, the battery, everything, I'm about $800 in so far. And just to kind of put that into perspective, if you were to buy like just a Jackery or just a Goal Zero with the same power capabilities, you're probably going to be at least $200 to maybe $500 over what I'm at right now. Also, like if you were to go with like a Dometic fridge or something like that, I think for a similar size capability, you're probably at like $1,200 to $1,300 just for the fridge. So all in right now, so far, I'm at $800. Now I'm also taking a risk on, obviously a fridge company that I'm not too familiar with. I did as much research as possible, and a buddy of mine, Ryan, you've seen him on the channel. He's got the Lexus GX 460, pretty cool build. He's been on quite a few trips with us. You guys have probably seen his truck. Now he has this same fridge, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I decided to go with this one, is I was able to kind of put my hands on his, check it out, obviously see that it would fit in the deck drawer system, which was a big decision for me. But at the end of the day, I'm working with a budget, and so I definitely can't afford to drop $1,300 on a fridge, $1,300 on a battery system, and then another $300 to $400 on a solar panel. Just not an option for me. But I really wanted to make this change, and so that's why I made the decisions I did so far on what I have in here. So I want to show you guys the fridge a little bit more, so I'm going to take it out, but right now just showing you guys how I have it in here so far. Obviously I don't want it rolling around and banging around, so I do have it ratchet strapped, and then obviously just a little microfiber cloth to keep it from scratching things up. So I'm gonna go ahead and undo this guy, and we will show you guys the fridge. For those of you with a deck drawer system, I know I've kind of gotten some questions regarding that. The deck drawer system plus the camper shell, this is about how much room I'm dealing with right now. So plenty of room to get it in and out, obviously not a ton, so I wouldn't want to go really any bigger at all as far as the height of a refrigerator. So like I mentioned in the beginning, this fridge so far has been running for an entire week off the battery, and the battery is still pretty much at 80% capacity as of right now. Now you gotta also take into consideration that for a little while I've actually had it out of the sun and in the shade, and it's a pretty warm day. So the fridge is working a little bit harder today, and it hasn't been getting the normal charge from the solar panel that it normally gets. And so with that all taken into consideration, I feel like so far for the power that this fridge requires, the battery and the solar panel combination is working out great. What's cool about this fridge is you do have dual zone control, which lets you either have half of it be a fridge, half of it be a freezer, or you can have the whole thing set to just being a fridge or a freezer. Now, I've got this thing set up so that it is just a refrigerator. I don't really plan on doing too much with it fridge-wise or freezer-wise. Let's open this up real quick for you guys. So I've just got some beverages in there right now just to kind of let it keep things cool. It's been nice to be able to get a drink out of there every once in a while. Like I said, I still haven't taken this camping, and so a bigger review is to come. This is just kind of like a first look video for you guys. Now personally, I plan on taking out this divider and both of these to give me a lot more storage. It is not the biggest fridge ever, but for a weekend camping trip, I think this would be great for me and my family of 4. This one comes with an LG compressor. So you do pay a little bit more for that LG compressor, but I got this thing for like 315 bucks because it was used. And so when I got it, obviously it was still looked like in brand new condition. I haven't had any issues with it so far. And so to save about 100 bucks or so, I think it was, I decided to go ahead and do that. And it was a purchase on Amazon. As always, I will link all this stuff in the video description so you guys can check it out for yourselves. And so, yeah, it being an LG compressor, I thought, you know what, let's go with that one instead. There's another model that's a little bit cheaper that doesn't have the LG compressor. It's up to you if that's something that you want to do. You might not want to buy this cooler at all, and I will have some more information for you guys as I use it a little bit more. Another cool feature of this fridge is it does come with a Bluetooth app that you can connect to your phone to kind of monitor battery life, set the temperature, change different selections and whatnot. So I do think that is a pretty cool, convenient feature. As long as you're close to the fridge, you connect your phone via Bluetooth and you can be able to manage the fridge that way as well. So I don't know if I'm going to be ordering one yet or if I'm going to build it myself, but I think just to make the fridge a little bit more accessible, I'm going to add like a fridge slide and tilt system. I don't know if I'm capable of building that on my own yet, but I do think that's going to be a big benefit. Some of the ones that I've seen online are really expensive, and so I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on that. As of right now, if it's further back like it is right now, I can open it up and can reach in there and grab stuff. If it's close to the window right here, it hits this thing right here if it's ratchet strapped. So I've got to kind of like let it loose and push it back to be able to really get in there. And so I want to make some changes in that aspect as well, because I would like to be able to get out of the truck and grab a drink while we're on the trail as well. So I'm gonna have to figure out that aspect of things. If I mount it in here a little bit further back with the tilt slide, then it will be perfect. But until then, I'm gonna have to figure out something a little bit different for that. Now, as far as the battery is concerned and all the power and all that kind of stuff, I do want to kind of build an enclosement for the battery, or maybe buy one of those battery box setups just to kind of get it out of reach. I don't want anybody obviously accidentally touching, positive, negative, I don't want any accidents there. I want to make things as safe as possible. And so obviously I've got 2 kids and a wife that, you know, the kids won't get back here much, but just, you know what I mean.
Oh, you know the thing.
I've got to clean that up, make it a little bit safer. And I also would like to build like a really nice kind of outlet system where, I don't know if it's like a box or a bar or something like that, where I've got the outlets mounted to like somewhere inside the truck. And so that is all still coming. Now, some of the other things that I do want to power from this battery system are some like camp lights, like I had mentioned earlier. Now I plan on either running like an LED strip on these wind doors, or maybe once I get a roof rack up there, add some hard mounted camp lights, some stuff like that. Now, the one other thing that is really high on my priority list, and if you guys want to give me some feedback on this, I'm all ears, especially some of you guys who have been following along on the build for a little while. As far as the tent is concerned, I'm thinking a clamshell tent because I want a flat surface to be able to mount 2 solar panels on it. Now, I also need this thing to be big enough for me and my 2 kids, and something that's really easy to kind of just pop up and tear down one day and get to camp. And that's kind of why I'm trying to settle on the clamshell tents. They seem to be, most of them at least, a little bit higher quality, also a little bit more expensive. And so that is definitely a consideration. If you guys have been following along the channel, you know the budget aspect of things is pretty important to me, but that may be an area where I'm willing to make a little bit bigger of a sacrifice in the aspect of my budget build. And so let me know what you guys think, what's working for you guys. I know a lot of you guys have some really great setups as well. Another recent thing that I've done to the truck is add these little pouches on the outside of the deck drawer system, just for some of the small things that I was constantly needing to get into the deck drawer system. You guys may have already seen this on Instagram, but I've got like some flashlights that we frequently get to, headlamp. This is like the flashlight I always use in the evenings, an extra pocket knife, and then charging cables for Apple Watches, phones, whatnot, that can just connect right here. So this still runs off of the car battery until I finish up this whole setup and have everything running off the second battery. Now, there are definitely some other features that I haven't quite settled on exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I am probably going to be adding like a DC-DC charger that hooks this battery up to the truck so that it does charge while I'm driving. I also plan on probably adding an inverter to hook up any kind of AC type accessories or things that we want to use as well, maybe like tool batteries and stuff like that. So that stuff is coming as well. Don't want to speak too much on that right now because I haven't exactly figured it out, exactly what I'm going to do yet. So as I mentioned earlier, kind of just doing a high level overview here, just because stuff isn't finalized yet. Now do me a favor, if there's any specific part of this that you really want to see more on, maybe the fridge, maybe the battery, maybe wiring, maybe the solar panel, whatever, if there's more that you want to see, let me know, because I can always do like specific dedicated videos to certain aspects of this. As I develop it more, I'll give you guys some updates as I clean it up, make it better, and all that, and add more features and functionality to it. I'll continue to update you guys on this phase of the build. But if you have any more questions, you want to see some more specific parts of it, please let me know in the comments below. That way I know exactly what's most important to you guys, and if there's something that's very important that I'm missing or haven't gone in depth enough on, I'll make sure I do a dedicated video on that. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please make sure you like and subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you out there.